us some insight into your experience being a woman in mining when you first came to Mount Isa in '95, and further on into your career when you started moving into leadership roles?
Yeah, so I often get the woman in mining question. When we first came to Mount Isa in '95, and I got work at the Mount Isa copper mine, or X41, which is where obviously Brett you were already working. I think I was one of 6 women at the time in the whole of the mine. So everyone knew us, and with my accent as well. As soon as I went on the radio, everyone knew who it was that was on the radio, and I couldn't identify anyone on the other because they all just sounded Australian to me. So it was an interesting experience. I have to say, generally, when I look back on it, at times it was probably a little bit challenging. We didn't have the facilities that we have these days for women in working places. I know we still need to improve them, but we really didn't have any at all. So clothing didn't fit. We had to scrimmage around to find boots that were small enough, and all of those sorts of things. But I think by having women start in those environments sort of 30 years ago, 25 years ago, we've steadily seen an improvement. And I think, to be honest, diversity is here to stay. It's got a momentum now that is amazing. When I was asset president at Cannington, I went to site and went into the women's change room at Cannington, and I couldn't find anywhere to put my gear down in order to get changed because there was so many women in the room. And I just and this was a decent sized change room, and I just was ready to burst into tears on the spot, because it's taken sort of 20 plus years to get to that point where I actually can walk into a change room and not be able to find space. And so, whereas it's probably a common enough occurrence for most men who are in the mining industry, but for women to have enough numbers there that you actually, can fill a change room is really quite moving. And I look at the progress that we've made as an industry to try to embrace diversity, and we're getting there. There's still pockets where we could get better. It has been a struggle at times. When I think about moving into leadership, I have been told I've only got jobs because I'm a woman. I have been told by people that they don't want to work for a woman before. And some of those things, you can either take them 2 ways. You can let them rock you back, or you can use them for the power of good to kind of increase your resilience and determination to actually succeed, which is how I kind of took it. And generally I've had positive commentary from that. And I think my leadership style does involve a lot of push for empathy and what is fair for people, and to be very people centric. So I'm hopeful that people get that my leadership style, while it may not be as aggressive as some of my male colleagues that I've worked with over the years, generally, to put it politely, but generally we can achieve the same results and do it in a way that is collaborative and acknowledges the power of the team to deliver results, as opposed to the individual. And I think that's what we see these days is an increasingly powerful way of leading.